Air, did you remember to take your constipation medicine?
Yes, Humble. Hey ladies and jellyfish, wombles of all sizes, welcome back to A.S.K's videos. Today I'm reviewing an episode of Hey Arnold. I love this show, so let's jump into this review of School Play. If you don't know, these beautiful new avatars were made by the amazingly talented Love and Lovely 33 on DeviantArt, so check her out and tell her I say hi. If you haven't seen this episode and just so happen to click on the video, at least give it a watch. I promise you won't be disappointed, then come and watch my review. Good? Good. Also, if you want to chat with me, fellow members, give me fan art I can feature in videos, or send memes, join my Discord server with the link in the description. Anywho, it's been over 2 months since my last super review, so let's celebrate going back to school with this review of Hey Arnold, School Play. The episode starts off with a beautiful title card on the school curtains, accompanied by the beautiful score by Jim Lang. It really gets you in the mood of a grand 22-minute special. We start at the PS118 cafeteria as Helga talks down to Arnold, while Arnold acts like his sensible self and walks off, telling Helga he knows deep down she has a soft spot. Helga, obviously really loving Arnold, gawks in happiness. Mr. Simmons walks in and announces the upcoming school play about Romeo and Juliet. Honestly, knowing what happens later, I think the plot is very creative for only being about a school play. I'll explain later. We see that Helga, before knowing that the Romeo part would go to Arnold and Romeo has to kiss Juliet, isn't all too interested in being part of the play. I have to say a boy and a girl kissing in a 4th grade school play is a little extreme, and the same country that has schools ban fidget spinners, but that's a story for another day. The auditions are also pretty fun to watch. If you're a fan of drama and the arts like I personally am, you would love the jabs at references they take here, like Mercutio and Tybalt being in the play. Thank God Jason Statham wasn't in this episode. By the way, in the auditions when Eugene denies as being Romeo, there's a bit of out of character with Eugene snapping at Mr. Simmons at the end. When the boys leave the auditorium, this drama teacher critic guy named Mr. Likelighter walks up and insults Simmons, and Simmons says this.
Mr. Likelighter, is that you?
I mean, if you can't see him there alone, I think you need glasses. Anyways, our first subplot, being about this critic guy judging Simmons' play, has just unfolded. I think with these subplots, especially in a 22-minute special, the more the merrier. Simmons goes to Arnold, and after some begging, Arnold accepts the part of Romeo, which any 4th grader wouldn't even dream of laughing at when there's so many lines, but Arnold, being the sympathetic last hope of us all he is, accepts. With some contrived coincidences, Helga overhears the girls talking about Arnold being Romeo in the washroom, and she instantly decides she wants to be Juliet. Helga hurries to the Juliet auditions and gets the 4th understudy of Juliet after Rhonda, Sheena, Phoebe, and Lila. This means if all 4 girls drop out for whatever reason, Helga is Juliet. Call it a substitute if you will. Helga plots to get them all out so she can kiss Arnold in the last scene. So far, the plot seems great. Like I said a few minutes ago, the plot is very creative for only being about a school play. Now we have Arnold to play Romeo in the school play, Helga having to learn her lines and knock out the 4 girls to get to Juliet, Simmons has the critic guy, and we still have all the fun that comes with the setup and delivery of the play in its entirety. We're 10 minutes in, practically halfway, and the plot setup is already done. Everything now just needs to play out. That's why this writer is so good, to go on to write Arnold's Christmas. Kudos to the late Steve Vixton. We go to a quick scene in the boarding house as Arnold tells Grandpa and Mr. Wynn about the play.
I will help you, Arnold.
You, Mr. Wynn?
Yes, I'm very dramatic.
That's a polite word for what you are.
Haha, yes, now we are starting the comedic part of this episode. Helga starts her quest to drop out the girls out of the play by making a horrible costume for Juliet and scaring Rhonda into dropping out, which was hilarious. Oh, by the way, the order of the girls is very interesting. It's Rhonda, Sheena, Phoebe, Lila. Honestly, I know this is a school play, but if 4th graders can kiss on stage, I don't care at this point. You can't tell me that this graceful, beautiful Juliet was supposed to be originally played by a sassy, rude drama queen, then a graceful, nice girl, then a super short, egotistical genius who shows off her achievements left and right, then a graceful, perfect ball of sunshine. I feel like the order should be Lila, Sheena, Rhonda, Phoebe. But saying how the plot is structured and Helga's schemes being harder and harder each time, I'll excuse Mr. Simmons' terrible order choices this time. Although there is the plot hole that if Lila is so perfect, why was she the last understudy? Anyways, we go back to Mr. Wynn and Arnold practicing for the play as Mr. Wynn acts like Juliet.
Oh, Pinkies, thou we shall ever meet again.
I doubt it not.
and all these woes shall serve for sweet discourses in our times to come.
Oh God, I have an ear-divining soul.
Once again, this light humor, although not that funny, does add a lot to this episode. We go back to Rhonda as she tells Simmons she can't make it, with probably the funniest scene in the entire episode.
Well, all right, Rhonda, I'm sorry to hear that, but if you're sure...
I'm sure.
Okay, that's gotta be one of the funniest gags in the entire episode. In fact, Helga is hilarious in this episode. So let's get all the funny stuff out of the way.
I can't believe I'm actually gonna play Juliet. Yeah, take a powder, honey. Juliet's a great part, don't you think? I'll tell Mr. Simmons tomorrow Phoebe can play the part. I really wanted to be the head costumer anyway. Perfect. You can start with this. It needs a lot of work. And you just freeze out there under all those hot lights, and you can't see anything, and everything starts spinning, and your glasses fall off, and...
Class, I have an announcement. As of today, we have another new Juliet. Lila will essay the role since Phoebe has decided she would rather be our stage manager.
Anyway, after scaring Sheena with the gore in the play and pressuring out Phoebe out of the role, Helga heads for Lila, the last understudy. We go to Arnold in the boarding house as Oscar Kokoschka laughs at Win and addressed the role play for Arnold. Helga tries to back out Lila with the gore excuse, and Lila says,
Not at all. The violence only serves to underscore the real meaning of the play, which is that love conquers all.
Oh, do shut up, Lila. No one likes you. Helga tries to go with the stage fright and costume excuses, but they don't work on her either.
This isn't by any chance because you like Arnold, is it? Are you crazy? Oh, because if that was the reason, if you wanted to play Juliet because you really like Arnold, and you wanted to kiss him or something, well, I sure could understand that. I guess I'd think it was ever so sweet. And I wouldn't mind giving up the part so you could do it. Strictly hypothetically, if I said I liked Arnold, talk about a crazy idea, would you swear never to tell a soul about it? And would you also understand that, and this is still hypothetical, that if I told you I liked Arnold and you spilled the beans to anybody, that I would strangle you with my bare hands? Well, I'm sure I would never tell. I like Arnold. Pardon? I couldn't hear you. I like Arnold! I'm head over heels, hook, line, and sinker over the moon, loop the loop, wow, wow, dude, I'm in love with the boy! Happy now! Happy? I kind of had a funny feeling you liked it.
So yeah, Helga confesses and Lila gives her the role. I have to say the writing here is phenomenal. This so accurately portrays how a 4th grader would say something like that. So yeah, the main portion of this episode is over, and now everything has to play out. We go to Helga's house as she practices her lines for the play with Big Bob, her dad. I'm surprised Bob even cared a little bit about Helga to do this. That's a big jump for his character. I guess Olga wasn't around this time. But we fade to Helga before bed, talking to herself about Arnold and writing in her diary.
Helga?
What?
Did you remember to take your constipation medicine?
Yes, Miriam! Oh.
Alright, I know I said the Helga dress thing was the funniest thing ever, but this takes it to a whole new level. We go to opening night as Simmons nervously readies everyone, and Lightkleider is there to enjoy every fault and flaw they make.
Our play's about 2 families in Verona, Italy, who feud and fight and hate each other very bitterly. From one family comes Romeo, from the other, Juliet. These 2 youngsters fell in love the moment that they met. No one wishes them to be together, although that is their aim. They have to meet in secret on a balcony at night, and the more they fall in love, the more their friends and family fight. In the end, they find a way to join forever in love and bliss. Romeo and Juliet die together after just one final kiss.
Yes, you'll realize there are more clips of the episode this time around, and although being a personal improvisation, that is mostly because of how live this episode is. Every scene can be put in an album, either as a funny, humorous scene, to an inspiring scene, to one that's just that classic. Like this beautiful prologue that explains the plot of the play for those unfamiliar, adds some context to the scene coming after it, gives some emotion to it by having even the most bitter of couples being in love, and has some brilliant voice voice acting and animation for its time. We go into the bulk of the play with it having a cool original twist on these characters and plots, and some comedy to back the fact that these are just kids at the end of the day. I mean that because in almost every scene, there's that local feel to it, with Harold failing at stabbing Curly, Arnold almost forgetting his lines, or Helga tripping on set. But you see, what makes this different from a school play episode you can make with your friends in an afternoon is the classic, awesome outcome of the actual thing. The play may be cheesy, faulty, or goofy at times, but when the characters get it right, they really get it right. And that's what makes these pre-climax scenes so great. And yeah, at 22 minutes in, Helga does the most important thing to take away from this episode: kiss Arnold. And for 14 seconds, you sick little. So yeah, the kiss is over, no one makes too much of it, and Helga kills herself in the play. Although let me point out that Juliet killing herself is not the last scene in Romeo and Juliet, but they just kissed. Let's move on. Arnold acknowledges Helga's long kiss, and all's well that ends well. And before we finish, let's give a big kudos to Jim Lang, who created this masterpiece of a song at the end of this episode. And I mean, I won't use in my credits or anything, but until next time, be sure to subscribe and join my Discord server. Ciao!